All I can say about episode 19 of The Great Jahy, the second to last episode, is that was the best twist, that was the best episode, that was the best way to resolve a sibling rivalry. Now, for a while, my theory about what was going down, just to do a quick recap here, was that basically, we know monocrystals are bad for humans. They cause calamity, and clearly this spirit wants to take those crystals away, don't want to restore the Dark Realm. That's evil. We saw how Jahy was interacting in the Dark Realm. She's become a much better person. I thought the way that fight was going to go down wasn't going to be in a tactical retreat, or giving the boss a magical girl power that lets her create flowers and not much more. I thought it was going to be a kind of misunderstanding that Jahy would then give up the crystals willingly because she realizes that evil, corrupt things isn't what makes her happy anymore. It's the general connection she's made along this journey. What I didn't see coming was that it was a sibling rivalry. Now, I've seen different opinions on what this spirit was. Was it a branch off the Dark Lord herself? Is it going to be a completely separate being? A sibling of some sort? But I don't think anyone kind of had this on their bingo card, that the entire reason that the Dark Realm fell is that because these sisters used to be very close, the Dark Lord got bored, ended up being the ruler of the Dark Realm. This girl got a little jealous. She then gave the power to the magical girl to go see what's up. The magical girl took it too far, destroyed it, and then in return she wanted to make amends by apologizing by giving those crystals, because they're bad for humans, to the Dark Lord to basically be forgiven, but in return all of her servants were idiots. Did not have that on my bingo card. And the fact that they went so overboard with Jahy's reaction, because they thought they killed Jahy at one point, they destroyed the pub, this was just typically a battle shonen where tears are being, thrown. The character's not actually going to die, the power of friendship will prevail, but they're still crying all the same. Instead, we get them all almost just brush it aside that's the Great Jahy, this is just how it goes. And Jahy's almost bobblehead what in the actual hell, you're going to apologize to me? And you know what, screw you, Druji, too, after our emotional situation. The fact that they went so in, this is the most Jahy twist that they could have gone, and I don't think there was a better way to resolve this conflict. For a while I've been saying that I think episode 20 will be a satisfying stopping point, and most likely this would be the end of the conflict, and episode 20 would be more of an epilogue. And they were setting up an almost farewell, Jahy wanting to go get her own restaurant, but clearly the landlady's kind of being upset because, the boss is the one who gave her everything, why would you want to abandon her? The boss being the opposite, I just want to help you. Druji wanting to find her own place. Everything about it was lining up to be that final farewell battle shonen episode. And to end it in sibling rivalry was the only way they could have gone, even though that wasn't quite on my bingo card. This is what I love about this show, is that it can have the most ludicrous reasons things are going down. That a cute, adorable, demon lord looking character is just a nice girl trying to protect humans from catastrophic things. Unfortunately, she picked the dumbest character apparently to be the magical girl because she in return destroyed the Dark Realm, when in return that wasn't exactly what was supposed to go down. But still, hey, you know what, power to them. We're going to at the very least pick up the pieces and we're going to hopefully make amends. It's so ridiculous, and I love how the Dark Lord is just immediately fine with it, okay, you know what, it's okay, we're sisters. Where Jahy is just what in the actual what? Why would you do this to me? That's the only way I think you could resolve it, because Jahy, in terms of character development, has very much been that karma. Do good things and good things happen, and whenever she does bad things, she gets stuck with the bill and pays the price. So to have her, what would be the main reason for not necessarily wanting to go back to the Dark Realm? Or, because seriously, collecting monocrystals would create catastrophic events. Either humans would suffer or people around her would suffer, right? So the idea of the reason it fell in the first place and why this very beautiful presence, which, I know there was some pushback saying it was going to be an evil presence or something. There's no way. There's just basic anime laws. If you have a holy spirit trying to collect monocrystals and those monocrystals have been established that they bring harm to people, of course we know damn well that it's a misunderstanding of some such. But to see the reasons and how, now we can really see a good stopping point. Even if, in next week, they restore the Dark Realm, right? Because now all the monocrystals can come together, the Dark Realm's restored. Clearly, there's going to be a lot difference of how things are run. Even if, say, Jahy goes back to the Dark Realm, she's not going to be whipping people. She's not going to be stepping all over people. She's very different. And I think there's always been a very big misunderstanding between Jahy and the Dark Lord, so the fact that the Dark Lord could very well just go back there and nothing really evil might happen and they'll be able to spend time with their sisters. Maybe Jahy decides that she wants to open her own restaurant, and instead she says, you know what, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue working for my boss and making my own dish, right? It just very much is in line with the character development while being ludicrous and hilarious about the reasons everything went down, all the bad things that happened was simply because of a sister misunderstanding, but in return that caused her to develop into a person and not the horrible thing she started out as, which was, I'm going to beat and kill at times. There's been moments in this show in flashbacks where we saw her disintegrate minions because she didn't like the way they were looking at her. We very much can tell she started off evil, but has become a wholesome, hilarious, and perfect character. This show literally has everything, and I honestly think minus a few touch-ups that the Blu-ray will probably fix up in its post-release, I wouldn't have changed a thing about this. In a lot of ways, this could have serviced as a final episode, but I am glad we get that episode 20, because one more episode as that sort of epilogue does go a long way. That's why I always love it when books have epilogues, because often you kind of reach a point like this where the characters, it's funny, it's hilarious, it's kind of what the hell, this is the entire reason the story happened. It's one of those things where you could close the book and should the author never publish the next one, you could leave satisfied recommending this as being a wholesome and hilarious development-filled show. But by having that epilogue, that little what happens next? Is Jahy still bitter? Is she gonna actually, stick to the pub? Is the location that Druji was going to get for Jahy going to be where, the boss's new pub's going to be located? There's all these different questions you have, but it feels like the cast have been brought together. And we didn't have Kokoro in this episode. We didn't get to see her one last time. There's all these big things. I kind of think of it as the festival episode where you go to a festival, everyone you've seen across that show comes together, they talk about what happened on their journey. Maybe you get a kiss if there's romance, in this case not really, but you see where I'm getting at. It feels like we need one more episode just to close it off, to put that cherry on the top of that sundae, and it really feels like they're about to nail the finish line. I mean, this has been a blast. This is easily one of my favorite shows of this year, and one that I'm going to be rewatching countless times. If it ever gets a physical Blu-ray release over here in North America, absolutely going to be picking it up. Even though I'm not really looking for a dub or anything, I have no interest in listening to one. It's more of just owning this show and never forgetting the experience that has come with it. And I'm sure the figures that are going to pop out of this show will range from hilarious to spicy and everything in between. But let me know your thoughts and feelings, because this was one hell of a twist. Something that I kind of saw coming mixed with, holy shit, I didn't see that coming in the slightest. I think many people are going to feel the same way, which is a great feeling. But let me know your feelings down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.